is Thursday, December 15, 22. Last night was crazy. Out of my clients on Turquoise Street, I got to walk out to get a soft drink out of my car because I leave sodas and stuff in there, okay? So, you can hear Michelle off in the distance. No one's to believe her what's going on. Okay. After she did a full confession a week ago Saturday when some girl went off on her, that all the tapes before were them, and the only thing that's going on is them stealing from the case while they're screaming at each other, and I can hear them 2 streets over. So what I did is I went back in the staffing room, quietly sat there and gave a testimony from da 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 da. Okay. Went to walk out to the kitchen, looked out the window, and people were pulling out like crazy because it hits levels of not funny. Okay. Last night I got home. There was a girl in the middle of the night screaming, "You're gonna do what to her?" And some guy, and she's driving by, "You're gonna do what to her?" And the guy's screaming, "You don't tell anybody, da da da." You can keep your dramatics. I don't want to hear it. Actually, do it to somebody who cares. Because I don't want to hear it. There's a point of, I don't want to hear it. Do you understand? Save your dramatics. I don't want to hear it. It's coming down to this. I don't want to hear it. Nobody else wants to hear it either. Nobody wants to hear it. Ever. Do we understand each other? Nobody wants to hear it. You can keep your dramatics. You know who it sounded like? That old ass that showed up. The first month, walked up to me at Walmart 62 by Wood Forest. Came up to me, "For every idle word you tell on us, I'll turn it on you." I'm like, "Who are you?" Because I don't know. He's like, "You try to leave Dave, I'll list you a child molester." I'm like, "Who are you?" He said, "You know that bruise on your leg?" "No, it's up by my private area, by my hip. And it's great big, it's about this big, okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "I use sodium pentothal on you. You know what you told me? Now, sodium pentothal, you lie under it. It's lethal and it's outlawed. It's spy flick movie stuff." So he date rape drug, okay, where they laughed they used ecstasy on me. He's admitting to breaking and entering, picking my bedroom door lock, and stabbing me with an ammunition date rape drug to tell me to say this crazy stuff. That you were wearing this one nightgown. You bent over him probably once and they accidentally seen your butt and you had a life of pain because of it. I'm like, "Who are you?" And I got away from him. I went home. I'm in a legally buffed house. I'm like, "Dave, I always wore the grandma nightgown down to my knees, underwear and a house coat when the grandkids were over. I know that." I said, "Leg and sweater and a house coat when the grandkids were over. I know that." I said, "Besides a grandma nightgown and some laces I kept for you, everything else is brand new from this last year. I didn't own it years ago." I know. That man was admitting to date rape, drugging me, chemically kidnapped me, attempted murder, breaking and entering. To frame me. And he worked for my ex-husband. Or my husband at the time. And this was their plan the whole time. In front of investigators. They already had me drugged and framed, and he was admitting it. Guys that drove by, when I mentioned it, some of the guys from the case, they said we had found out that some old ass was drugging up Karen before. Well, it sounded like him out there. It's the Steve, Eric, Kurt, Chris, and Mark. The agent from out of his area. It's Michelle's dad, that retired Judge Pete. Looks like a little white Santa Claus, friends with Judge Timothy Ludick. Okay? All right. Right. Okay. the agent that called me back. It's already came out on November 6, 22, Central Baptist, about 10:30. My phone's tapped from the police. And a lady investigator, Karen's okay, we found the protective custody case. It's like you're slow, right? You could have just asked the Massillon police. Several of the Canton police work it, and some of the Stark County sheriffs. Okay? And they're right behind me and my client. Okay? That, me and my client, that, the agent that told her, the agent that called her back is the one that told on her the night before, where Pamela went, my God, I had an FBI agent in the office, he's right there. He actually pointed out a Stark County sheriff in plain clothes. That's why the Portage County sheriffs didn't know who he was. He showed up in his uniform like about a month and a half ago, got out of his vehicle, looked at me, went, I thought, where the hell have you been? And people from the case are like, he's stupid showing up in his uniform. He not only showed up in his uniform, he showed up in his Stark County sheriff car. Looks like the guy from the cooking show. You have to round up his face, young it up. It looks like he's gained quite a bit of weight in the last 4 years. Somebody must be feeding him well. Well, they got a hold of him, and he's the one that looks like Judge Timothy alluded to. The black hair, black eyes, thick black glasses. But be his kid, he's that close. Okay? You verified. Pamela, when he's screaming, my God, I had an FBI agent in my office, he's right there. Instead of pointing at the agent, he had a sheriff go with him as security in plain clothes. He pointed at the sheriff. Okay? Alright. Mercy Medical, November 24th, 22. I'm in the emergency room with food poisoning, where Eric had made fun of him November 18, 22 at Walmart 62, between 2 and 6, outside the hair salon. There's a big camera at the entrance of the door, right by the hair salon, and one in the hair salon. Okay, and the police keep an eye on the girls in there, and they tape an audio in there. All the tapes before were me, and not her. Ha, 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 ha. It was my idea to come up with it, my idea to do it, and it was all me and not her, for all these people to turn on her, and they actually fell for it, and they went along with it. Ha, 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 ha. Well, if it's just you, I can't even fix it. I know it's that bad, and they still went along with it. I've been tortured. I've been drugged. I've been stalked. I've almost been shot driving. I had to hide on a shooting day. And he wants to make fun of me? Oh, sorry. He wants to make fun of me? I like crunch up in a ball. Okay? The nurse at Mercy Medical, November 24, 22. In the evening, she goes to leave my room. There was a lady officer there. She could have been talking to her. There was some lady outside my room. We all heard that Eric make fun of us for calling for this. No one will say a word to her again. Okay? And the lady responded, the agent that bullied her into saying she was lying when she wasn't. The agent that called me back made me plead for my life and threatened to arrest me if I didn't say it. The Badgering Law 1729, Department of Justice goes to jail for that. He wanted me to stay quiet because he's planning on embezzling all those funds from the Witness Protection Program. He's got a racket, him and these men, setting people up in the Witness Protection Program, the informant part, and then stealing all and terrorizing while they steal all the money from the Witness Protection Program. So he had to open that account. And where he promised me $5,000 a month, he stole every dime for himself. That's why he bullied me. Yeah, that lady telling that nurse, the agent that called her back, or the agent that bullied her into saying that she was lying when she wasn't. I found out that those men even ran experiments on her. But it's so bad, nobody's even ever said anything bad about her before. It's actually that bad, and I told him, and she responds that nobody should ever be mean to her again. Well, they've been saying that for over a year and a half. And then these rejects are taking embezzlement money from the witness. Oh, one of my stupid neighbors yesterday, they stole all the money from her. I wouldn't say a word. They didn't steal it from me, honey. I never got it. They stole it straight from the banks. See, I'll list you informant, but you tell someone. Because first, I tried to tell them what happened at Huntington Bank, where the guy threatened to knife me and the a waitress got paid to stalk me. She's getting paid to watch me. The banker's screaming at him, and then they walk off together after he threatened to knife me. And I tried to tell him, you liar, you confession liar. I'm like, what? He said, you confess or I'll put you in jail. And I'm like, what? Now, they've already been date rape drugging me. And I'm already, you know what I mean? You're not processing right. You're sick to your stomach. I was crying like crazy, scared for my, you either say it or I'll put you in jail. So I'm like, fine, whatever. Say it! So I did. It's like, now you're going to help me. Nah, I got you to say it. That badgering law, it's illegal. No course confession is admissible. He goes to jail. And that's asinine. If he's got a girlfriend, I don't know. Ha! And some guys are saying stuff, and he's like, stop, you don't know. I'll list you informant, but you tell someone I'll list you crazy. And no one can help me. He doesn't have that authority. He didn't want me to tell because he's planning on stealing. He said it comes with a $5,000 a month. You'll have money to move out. I'll pull you out if you get. It's too bad. Nothing legally stated against you again. And only for you and only for you would we ever do this for us. To put it back as if it never happened, even when it's over. Because you get diplomatic immunity being in a witness protection program. No man will ever touch you. I'll make sure that you have security. Yeah, I'm going to get police protected custody. I was always supposed to get free housing, free medical, and free living expenses. He stole every dime straight from the witness protection program into his own dirty pocket. He's running this racket that he's setting people up with the witness protection program. See, my ex-husband on the third day up there was so mad because the last attempt on my life, because where he had wanted Katie before, he was trying to have me killed. She's got money. She has a cattle farm. But instead of paying me off, he was just going to do me in so he could have everything. And that's where the attempted kidnapping, attempted carjacking, follow rounding, the attempted break-in, they knew where the security system was, where the 6,000 went. Okay? And he's so mad I'm not dead yet, by the grace of God. He gets mad and hits me with a face. I broke into tooth. He admits to breaking it, hit me with a board in the face. I got smart with him. And he ran off to the store and met these people instead of them arresting him, because one's an FBI agent out of his area and a retired judge. Oh, wow, because they got this racket they're embezzling from the witness protection program. Let me finish up the house, and within the first 2 weeks, the male nurse's house right before 4490 John Thomas Ravenna, there was a house before mine. A guy came over, said he was a male nurse, helped me mow the lawn. I almost passed out trying to mow the lawn. They were already date rape drugging me. I was waking up with bruises and apparently photoshopping shower scenes, stalking me. And that's why that Eric's wanted for stalking by the Canton Massillon police. I was in Acme on Whipple yesterday. On the 14th, a lady and her teenage daughter said that's the one that Eric has everybody make fun of. She said, don't you dare say a word. He's the one doing it to her. She said, I know none of this is funny. They have a full confession that it was all him before, mocking these people for falling for it. I talked to this one retired sheriff online, and we're friends, and he's like, is your local police slow? They have a full confession at the entrance of Walmart under tape and audio that it was all him, and they didn't jump him. Are they slow? Exactly. The nurse at Mercy Medical knew it was Eric. And they already know the agent that called me back told on me, and that he's the one that badgered me under a false statement. And they have been talking like December 2nd, 22. Wendy's in Alliance. There's only one Wendy's, okay? I have my day group in there, and our guy, I finally get to sit down. It's between 11 and 12:30. You can pull their surveillance. It's just a few days ago, okay? They said, is that the one that church tried to have killed? He said, yeah. Okay. December 2nd, 22. Wendy's in Alliance. They have cameras inside between 11 and 12:30. Is that the one that church tried to have killed? Yes. I've helped watch her since the beginning of the case. I heard she didn't get any money. He said, no, she's always out working to make ends meet. Okay? He said it's been that one guy from the case stealing every dime from the case. They all knew it. And that's why no one will say anything and no one will talk to her. It's just been that guy, that one man stealing every dime from the case for himself. And that's the only thing going on. Okay? November 11th, 22, Maslin on 3rd Street. They were screaming out, it's that idiot stealing everything she had in life for herself or for his own family, and that's the only thing going on, and nobody better ever say a word to her. They have created this hurricane of lies. They were lying on my one son that for the shower scene, he had an attorney, he was coming after me, causing this hate crime. I go to him, and I'm talking about them telling people that I have charges, and they're having people follow me around. Well, you have your CCW, don't you, Mom? Of course I do. I said, I'm my notary, I got my med certs, I got this, I got that, okay? All right? I said I just passed an FBI background to get my med certs. And I told him how good a grade I got, and oh, you almost aced it, da 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 da. And I told her how I, work home health care and I work for Dayhab. She said, do they not realize what you do? You can't even have an accusation, Karen. I can't. And she's like, as if you would do anything wrong. I said, well, I call them the Pinocchio group and the Wah group, the Liar Liar Pants on Fire call. She said, they would be Pinocchios, as if you'd ever do anything wrong. She said they would be lying. They better have shorts because their pants would burst into flames. I started laughing. They have caused this hurricane of lies. Lying that they were lying on me to help them and they knew nothing, so I wouldn't talk to them. They told lies on my other kids and they verified it was lies. They lied on everybody in the world. And so they could cause this hurricane of lies for people's stupidity to help. I've turned this into the Department of Justice. I have NC that agent for him to embezzle all that funds from the government. He had to put me in the informant program. That's why they had Dave say my girlfriend's rich and powerful, her family owns the police. So I went toss the police. Okay? And so I called the FBI. It's like the reverse psychology. And then he could grab it out of his area off the hotline and then do all this. And I can guarantee as organized as he is. I'm not his only victim. The only requirements to be in a witness protection program is there's a case bad enough the government's willing to look into it. Okay? And for you either being a witness or a victim of that crime and willing to testify, they agree to put you in a witness protection program. There's several. And they will give you $60 grand a year, the $5,000 a month. They give you diplomatic immunity. They give you free housing, free medical card, and free living expenses. And they take care of you. And so they can't retaliate. You got 24-hour police home surveillance. They're supposed to come running and just not document it like they have been me, documenting all these people hurting me. They're actually supposed to come running. But he had to open that case for him to embezzle straight from the funds. Because who's going to have the passwords to create an account like that? I used to work in a bank. I could put your social in. I could, and it'll pull up all your accounts. And if it's an old closed account, it takes somebody in the back office to open it. And every time an account is looked at, touched, you have to sign into your terminal. It documents what time and date you touched it. So with an informant thing, they open up that case. They have to put the account in there, the $5,000 a month. I never got a dime. Why? You can't reassign it. You can't give it away. You can't attach it. It's government funding. They're lying to people because they're the ones stealing from it. They had to open that case. And then he started taking the money for himself, for my housing, for my insurance, for my living expenses, and the $5 grand amount. He stole over $300,000 from my case alone. Now, he's so organized, him and this group. I can't be their only victim. You got to think, most people in witness protection programs are couples. That'd be $10,000 a month. They have kids. We're adding more. And he's probably setting himself up to be a billionaire, him and his dirty friends. And that's exactly what's going on. And I got more witnesses. Dear God, I was in Five Below a week ago today with my day group. And some ladies came in and we said, we told Judge Pete that they hurt her that bad just to steal money. They didn't make it right. They could have just stole the money. Stole the money. Never touched me. And just ignore me. You know why they touched me? For the hell of it. For the fun of it. And then sold videos of it online. They sold the police login to the protected home custody case for people to watch real terrorism. And people to make fun of their victim. Well, they're embezzling funds from the federal government. It's the only thing happening. I was found innocent of everything in 18. You know, I got to thinking, you know, I went down to John's church. 19, they had a dinner. One of the officers that would have watched me came in and sat down, and they were talking to John's church. And said, did they ever come up with about Catherine? He said, no, we haven't figured it out. Because the first month, there was a 6 foot, 250 brown hair, brown bearded guy. You can run, you can hide. I can still find you. You can change your name and I can still find you. You can go back to Catherine and I can still find you. And I got away from, I've always been caring my father made me. Okay. The guy was young, he had black hair, glasses, and he wore his hair top part in a ponytail. Now, I remember in 1819, there was a guy with a deep voice yelling at people in a side room in the basement of John's church. They already knew everything. They already confronted him. Because the kids on Thanksgiving of 18 got caught stating they wanted the house for Auntie Shell and Papa, and Grandma needs to get out. Michelle, the agent's daughter, she's a young blonde girl, goes to Faith Family Church. She was like 19, 20 at the time. My dad's FBI. He works the case. I date Dave. She's a pea sweater girl. She's mentally ill. She was watching me in the bathroom. I had used the bathroom. I stood up to flush it. I had a cardigan and a sweater on. A cardigan, sweater on, and a dress. And the sleeve fell down, so I went to push it back up. And I'm like, crap, I didn't wash my hands yet. So I flushed the toilet, take off the sweater, wash my hands up and arms up to my elbows, put a new sweater on. She was lying to everybody I didn't. And making fun of me. And she let me know she was watching me on the toilet. She's mentally ill. She came in another time. I'm glad they beat her. I'm glad they raped her. The one girl looked at her. A group of girls are like, can you have those guys rape somebody for us? Yeah, we just have to ask them. She thinks she's some kind of mafia goddess. And these people need to start learning to be afraid of them. They threatened some guy in Louisville that he took embezzlement money. And if he tells on him, he'll go to jail. It's like if you don't tell on him, you will go to jail. They gave you embezzlement funds from the government. And you didn't know it came from the government and they were stealing and they were giving you money to harass me, which you should not have done. But they used you as a pawn. And the government finds out you took the money and you didn't tell them that you didn't know and that who gave it to you. You can go to jail as an accessory. You have to tell them so that you're found innocent. Because if you don't think that they can't link it back to you, because I'll tell you what, those old files in the bank where, it took somebody in the back office, we actually had to have that office open one in a bank because the guy needed proof of income for that year. All right. And then we printed it off. And it had everybody that ever touched it, every deposit, everything. You take my social, it comes right up where I call the hotline, who called me back, who opened that account, and where that money went. It'll take them less than 5 minutes to find out. And who embezzled it. And they're not smart enough to say, oh, it's an oversight. Here, Karen, here's your money. Because the only requirements to get it is you witness for the government. And then they put you in protected custody and give you all that. They can't say if you tell someone unless you're crazy. No, he was bullying me to stay quiet so that he could steal that money. That's why he badgered me. So I'd be too afraid to say anything and stay up there. And he left me up there to die, knowing there was threats on my daughter-in-law's life, my granddaughter's life, and then attempts on him. He's not funny and he's very dangerous, and so are these people. They will kill you for money. They will rape you for money and sell videos of it online. Do you think that the other people in the Foreman program they've been over, they haven't done this to them? They are too organized. They're running it like the mafia. That's where that one retired sheriff, are you sure the mafia is not doing this to you? I said, no, it's an agent out of his area and a retired judge. He said, I don't care if it's a sitting judge and an FBI agent. You're the police in that area should have arrested him. Yeah, they should have. I'm going to upload this.